Look to kick off from left to right on your screen. Madison Hughes, the man we just spoke about, wearing number 15 on his back, has the ball. And University of South Carolina, I don't know much about their side, but they're coached by Mark Morris.
And here we are, South Carolina able to gather at the restart, looking to work the ball wide here. Opting to go back towards the center. Interesting, a bit of a football pass there. Referee says play on, but just again, sloppy underfoot today. South Carolina not liking their options out wide. Trying to take contact, but just not all going their way there. A bit scrappy here. Right now, Dartmouth doing well, scrambling to contain South Carolina here, whose passes, they're doing a good job of moving the ball around, but just maybe not quite going to hand these passes. And see the ball turned over there.
So Cal Poly earlier beat South Carolina 36-12, so looking to get on the board here early. Oh, and they're throwing an intercept pass.
An intercept right there.
Oh, and he'll go all the way. There's no stopping the big man. Try time.
Oh, so difficult to stop. A break up the middle, obviously so difficult to stop in the best of times, even when you are expecting to be on defense. Not much you can do there when you have those intercepts on offense.
Exactly,
there.
and it's so frustrating because you have the possession and they maintain 5 or 6 great phases of play, working their way up the field. If you watch the replay here, so it's good stuff by them so far. And then that pass, that last pass, intercepted. The defense is nowhere. There's no sweeper back, and all of a sudden it's 7-0. And Dartmouth have a player down injured actually in the background, so let's hope he's okay. He's still flat on his back. Don't know who it is. We haven't got a number yet. But very calm and composed defense for them there. Our cameramen are really watching him there, so let's hope he's okay. So Dartmouth started off well today, 47-5. They took care of North Carolina State. And they have some good players in their lineup we spoke about. We said Madison Hughes, he's from England, London originally, played for the US Falcons. And he was a member of the Championship CRC team in 2012, voted MVP. Of course, they have quite a few other players on their team here with some great experience. So the paramedics on, it's always never a good sight, Brad. You see a player injured, you got the card coming on to take him off.
No, rugby, while a physical game, it's certainly inherent in the game. You hate to see that. You want a good, hard contest, but you never want to see a player go down like that.
Also tricky times now for the coaching staff. They have to rearrange their lineups a little bit. Gavin Hickey looks on. Good to have Alex Mugby back with their program. Alex coached the Eagles, some very, very good tournaments. Got some 5th place events the last couple. And in the World Cup, actually, almost had a massive upset to get to New Zealand. It was one of the cliffhanger games against the champions.
Oh, absolutely. Alex, one of the great thinkers in American rugby, no question about it. Good to have him back in the game coaching after moving away from the U.S. national team to focus on some personal things. Good to see him back at Dartmouth and able to put some of his knowledge back into the game.
So we may get a replay for you. And here we go. Let's see the build up to that intercept. So there it is, the tackle, and then it's just throwing the pass off the hip. So it's tough. Those passes are 50-50 passes is what we called. And generally, if you are able to set a ruck, what helps is to get the defensive team back on sides. And so, you know, if they can just keep building rucks and without throwing those 50-50 passes, it'll be a lot better for them. Obviously, it's tough to say that in hindsight.
Well, certainly, sometimes there's that pressure you see teams have that they want to they want to score always, and they want to score off every pass. And as you said, so important to sometimes just build that pressure on other teams. Set the ruck. If the pass isn't there immediately, just sort of grind teams down. It's very exhausting in sevens, as you know, to defend.
Yeah.
Obviously, the rucking and tackling and all of these things that come into it. Sometimes teams, if you can build that pressure, you're able to wear them down and open it up. When you try to force those passes, obviously things like that they're bound to happen when you try to force it one too many times.
And that's the crazy thing, is that without the ball you can't do anything, right? So you defend and defend, and then all of a sudden boom, somebody capitalized on that. So we're just saying sevens is all about capitalizing and all about defense. It really is. Having good offense is vital, but if you can defend and keep the team away, and then like we just saw here, Dartmouth pick the ball up and scramble, 7 points without even touching the ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such an important, there's so much space out there. Obviously, we think of sevens, and there's lots of try scores, lots of space to run into. Sometimes I don't think people understand how important defense really is. It's the difference between the good teams and the great teams. And as you said, being able to keep your composure, the skill that's required to coordinate your team, maintain your defensive shape, regather your defensive wall, run your sweepers as it breaks down. And every play you're having to reconstruct that defense. It's very tough. And as we've seen, Dartmouth are able to play such strong defense. And as you mentioned, playing that defense and keeping your composure and the ability to rebuild after every attack, eventually you make things happen on defense and you're able to turn a score like that.
Exactly. And then what it really does, gets in the minds of the opposition, where they've had the ball for several minutes and failed to score, and all of a sudden the other team gets the ball and has a breakout. We saw Central Washington were very good with that. They have some big, strong, powerful defenders, and all of a sudden turned the ball over and scored a good 40 points in that last game.
Oh, absolutely. Davenport is one of those teams that shows you the importance of a really good defense. Doing the little things well, contesting at the breakdown, when the opportunities are getting over the top of the ball, slowing it down so that even if the offensive team is able to win the ball back, it's not on their own terms. It's sloppier, it's slow, and hopefully, as they showed, pinch a couple of balls there, able to turn it over, and now your team has the ball back. Just doing the little things well in defense, making life tough on the offense. As you mentioned, it just drains the confidence out of an offense when every single time they're getting a defense right in their face.
Exactly. And while we have our fans here online, they need to join the conversation on Twitter at #College7s. And also, massive congratulations to the Eagles. Just beat Russia, playing that game at the Saracens' home ground in England. I think it was a score 28-7. That's a massacre. Last time the Eagles beat Russia was at the Rugby World Cup, and it was a very tense game. So that's fantastic stuff. You know, it's good for rugby.
Absolutely, and a great run of form for them. I had the good fortune of getting to watch the U.S. play the New Zealand Maori.
Oh, that's fantastic, right?
Brilliant game. Of course, U.S. not able to win that ball game, but you could tell from that game just lots of passion, highly contested game, very, very physical ball game. The U.S. Representing themselves well. Just really building on that. You felt so good after that game. You just knew they were going to put in a performance against Russia.
And then a sold-out stadium as well, so the fans are kind of backing them, which is phenomenal stuff, as we see all the players giving somebody a hand in the background of the injury. But that's the great thing about rugby here, is developing so much at the grassroots level, but then also the national teams are up to it. Now the men's team and women's team have the World Series that they're playing on, which is fantastic. In fact, Matt Hawkins is with his team in Dubai right now, so they gear up, and they have 5 players that recently either played college rugby or just graduated on that squad of 12, and that is exciting. That's why tournaments like this is really great for the Eagles setup, you know? Oh,
absolutely. And as you can see from this tournament, so many of these colleges are in many ways becoming the high-performance centers that feed these national teams. Really well-coached programs. They're well-funded. They manage themselves appropriately. As you can see with Dartmouth, 2 fantastic head coaches, and we've seen with a number of other programs here today, just playing some of the best rugby you're going to see in the U.S. It is fantastic to see, because you're able to get that young talent coming through, playing a good brand of rugby, not having to learn that quality rugby at the men's level when getting a bit on old in age. You're not able to tap into those younger athletes. So it's just very, very exciting to see players playing such top quality rugby at 18 rather than at 22 when we're getting out of college.
And that really is a difference between some of the Tier 1 nations, you know, and the Tier 2 nations. And the Serevi Sevens was a good one, where club teams got a chance to play against some of the younger players, and the All-Americans won it. So
that's true.
Just goes to show that, that if you can get the players playing rugby at a younger stage, and that's why Rookie Rugby is doing a great job as well. Play Rugby USA.
Absolutely it is.
Kurt Weaver, we saw him refereeing today. He's doing a wonderful job with the kids, promoting the sport. You guys should check it out. Obviously, Rookie Rugby and playrugby.com. Spread of the game, in boys and girls, just getting the ball in the hand. And I think we're going to be back to the action here very soon. So let's grab our seats. And Dartmouth are going to start with the restart after that try. Madison Hughes to kick off here. Nice high kick.
Well, South Carolina able to regather it, not quite as cleanly as they might have liked. And the ball just a bit sloppy there. Bit of a knock on there from South Carolina. Scrum to Dartmouth.
Yeah, let's see what Dartmouth do here. Another player limping for Dartmouth. This is not good. Number 14, who is Kevin Clark from West Orange, New Jersey. Member of Dartmouth's CRC team as well in 2012, is down on the ground. So this is not a good sign. So we have 2 players that could potentially leave the field, Brad.
Let's see here. Sorry, what was that last bit, Dallin?
Yes. So two players down for Dartmouth leave the field. Magleby comes on there, and he's keep the rugby clean shirt. So 2 of them are down.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. He is a very, very strong player for them. Obviously, a very, very good athlete. He's played on a couple of their championship teams now. You know, a player like that obviously brings a lot of athleticism, but you hate to see him go down as much because of what they bring to the team in terms of the calm, the confidence that they bring to this, having had that experience in these bigger matches. Not a good sign for Dartmouth.
Oh, look at that. Madison Hughes streaks around like a sleek racing snake. While we're talking, he's just ghosted past 3 defenders. And try time, Dartmouth. Fantastic rugby.
For all the systems in the world, sometimes it just need a little bit of pace. It's hard to stop those, isn't it?
Wow, that was great stuff from Madison Hughes from London, England. He has been an absolute talent since turning his attention to rugby. As we watch the replay there, off the base of the scrum, comes around the outside and just streaks past 2 would-be defenders. He really made up for both players leaving the field there. We had Pete Savasi, who left on the stretcher earlier. We hope he's okay, and we're sending our thoughts to him. And then number 14, Kevin Clark, has gone off injured as well for Dartmouth. So without those 2 players, the kick is good, and they're up 14-0.
Madison Hughes, 2-time Sevens All-American. Obviously quite a talent, an excellent player. Certainly seems to be one of the strengths of this Dartmouth team, as they do a fantastic job of building depth. Obviously losing 2 players early on, not showing any signs of wear from that.
Oh, under all sorts of pressure here.
Sloppy from South Carolina, again slipping in the ground here. Dartmouth able to force the ball back inside, closing off that outside option for South Carolina. Contesting that breakdown, slowing down the ball for South Carolina. It's just so important and so devastating when defenses are able to do this. But obviously appears slowing the ball down as part of a penalty there. So not all above board. Here we are, promising run from South Carolina. Able to get the ball moving here. But Dartmouth wrapping it up on the outside, closing that down. Let's see if South Carolina can get this out. Ooh, an interesting pass there.
Yeah, a little basketball style action.
Oh, got numbers on the outside here. Oh. Cheeky little pass out the back. Nice angles there, running more or less north and south and just running not too much angles there, able to make a nice incision, but again, sloppy ball there.
Now they've got space, numbers on the right if they use them.
Ooh.
Oh, the Maori sidestep just straight up the middle. And Dartmouth capitalized, they could go all the way, end-to-end stuff. John Abram on the outside, won't be caught. Oh, and that's heartbreaking stuff for Carolina.
You know, sometimes, obviously, rugby being a very physical game, sometimes there's that almost nostalgia for being just physical and overpowering teams, but you've got to be careful there in those situations. Sometimes bringing that physical rather than the sort of noose to your game and using the space available in your players, it backfires on you.
You are so right as you watch the replay here. It led to a turnover, and then Abram just put on the gas. Originally from Montreal in Canada, ghosting all the way on the outside. And that's tough for the University of South Carolina because they look promising. You know, several times in this game, they've had possession, they've worked their way gradually up the field, and then that turnover, and bang, they're behind their sticks, and all of a sudden, Madison Hughes kicked the conversion, and it's 21-0. Got to give a shout out, though, to Michael Rosinski, playing over here, wearing number 12. Was part of the Maccabee team. They won gold earlier in Israel this year in the 7 side. Rudy, as he's fictionally known. Wonderful little player and a youngster coming through the system, only 20 years old.
And if I'm not mistaken, then we have another Maccabee player sitting with us here.
We may do, we may do. Thanks, Brad. Another 20 coming your way.
Oh, beautiful take there from Dartmouth on the restart. No one's going to stop him.
Ryan Galloway collecting a superb kickoff from Madison Hughes, fends the first man and touches down. As easy as you like.
Boy, and we just keep going back to it, but once again, those restarts, just such one of those parts of the game that so highly contested that when one team can get the upper hand in those exchanges, it just makes life so difficult for the opposition.
And it helps having a 6'6", 240-pounder on the end of that. Ryan Galloway just catching that ball, perfectly timed kick, and it's becoming more and more crucial here at the top level sevens game. And even those little extra 2 points from the sideline, if you have a kicker that could do it, then it adds a lot of value. So that is full time, 26-0 over here. Dartmouth take out University of South Carolina. Joining us in the commentary booth next, I'm going to be taking a break for a second. We have Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and their take on Navy. And we're going to have Pat Kane join us here, if we can find him. Prize there, so like us on Facebook.com/USA Rugby.
So South Carolina kicking off, hoping to have a change of fortune here in the second half. Nice little chip up top. Looks like they're able to regather, and they do. Oh, but just not able to hold on to it. Dartmouth regathering well, moving the ball into space. South Carolina under a lot of pressure here, but able to contain, and a poor pass from Dartmouth allowing the defense to resettle. But Madison Hughes with a good step, able to draw on the defenders. Easy as you like.
Easy as you like. Wilson Cockley on the end of that one. The 20-year-old from Washington, D.C. just capitalizes on Madison Hughes' great skillful setup, drawing two players onto him, and it looks like an easy score in the end, 31-0.
Absolutely. In rugby, while it can be a complicated game, it all boils down to those basics. 2-on-1s, able to draw and pass a man, as we see here. Beautiful offload there. Made the defenders commit. That close to the line with that much space, no one was going to stop them.
Yeah, and Cockley, former tennis player, and then switches attention to rugby, and we're lucky he did. And that kick is over from the sideline. Wow. Madison Hughes striking that ball so cleanly today, even with a stiff breeze coming up against him.
And once again, as the tournament wears on, as they get to a higher level, as we've commented earlier, those kicks just so critical. Really, for a kicker to be able to hit from those angles, that's a huge benefit to teams as they come on, as these games come down to the finest margins.
Another nice high kick we spoke about, and there he is underneath it, the 6'6" giant. The ball gets squirted back, and Dartmouth keep possession.
It's difficult to coach height, isn't it, Dallin? It's it is one of those God-given abilities. And Dartmouth needs to settle this ball down here. And the big man shackled on the sidelines. Just brought out the touch. This will be a line out to South Carolina.
That was Galloway, big number 6, taking it down the sideline. And it's going to see if he can get involved here and try to steal that ball. Referee Tim Luscombe looks for a couple of subs.
It was great defending by South Carolina there. Obviously a bit of a mismatch. You have a a giant like that coming at you, a smaller man, but he played it well. And as they say, every man's ankles are about the same size, and did a great job there to make that tackle and get the ball outside. But Dartmouth able to win this line out. So all that great defending there, Dartmouth still able to capitalize. Looking for a quick little move there. Now working this ball out wide. Oh, seeing a bit of an outside. Madison Hughes just again with that really nice draw and pass, but ball just not going to hand. We have a knock on from Dartmouth. It's
such a familiar sight. Madison Hughes sets somebody up and then takes him on the outside and then uses their wing with a bit of speed to try burn there. So such a good little move he's got going for himself. Scored a lot of tries like that. That time John Abram couldn't hold on to it, but he scored a good try earlier today. So the big man is coming off. So Ryan Galloway scored earlier, done some wonderful work in the loose as well. And he gets subbed out. And rotating all the players, 15 in each squad here, because it's a two-day event. And already Dartmouth are missing 2 players from those injuries early in the first half.
South Carolina able to get the ball from the scrum. Oh, big fend. But the Dartmouth player does well to maintain the tackle. Looked like a bit of a forward pass there, but the referee says play on. Oh, the ball looks to have been cleaned up on the floor by Dartmouth, but a penalty there. Referee says holding on. South Carolina moving quickly here. Oh, and a nice break up the middle. But Madison Hughes does well to stop that play, but the offload. Can South Carolina make something happen here? Another penalty to South Carolina. Dartmouth under a bit of pressure here, obviously pretty close to the goal line. Oh, and the support just misreads the line that's needed. Dartmouth chasing it on, a bit of a soccer match there. Oh, and the South Carolina defense just holding strong. Oh, number 8, big, powerful runner.
Pat Flynn trying to get in there. Support arrives just in time as somebody comes in from the side. So now it'll be a penalty for Dartmouth. So now they have possession again strongly.
Dartmouth working the ball wide here. Big man there, taking the ball into contact, drawing into some defenders here.
Zach Flower, they call him the Grizzly Bear, and you can see why.
He certainly is a hirsute gentleman. The ball getting a little sloppy there, and finally gone into touch. Once again here, see if the line out forms or if they're going to try to go.
Yeah, they're looking to try to go quickly, but not sure what's happening yet. Referee's going to set the line, and it looks like the big man we just spoke about there is going to be replaced. Zach Fowler.
Interesting style of throw for the line out from South Carolina, an underhanded toss. Oh, and right there.
There's Madison Hughes, we spoke of that. In, out, and Gary goes, plenty of gas to burn. You won't catch him.
Well, so dangerous when you combine someone that understands good running lines, then has the pace to make it happen. It's just really tough to defend somebody like that all game.
Oh, it reminds me of you back in the day, you know?
Oh, that's right, that's right. That powerful step, deceptive speed.
Lovely stuff from Hughes, and this kick here, he'll get very close to getting this over. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, but having somebody of his skill who obviously complements the team with the kicking, but then of course can finish off and set up tries like this. And I did put the curse on him as his kick goes wide to the left there. Sorry, Madison, about that.
But to Madison's credit, you know, it's easy sometimes for players that just have such good athleticism to be selfish players, but he's not. He does an excellent job of pressing the line with his athleticism and chancing his arm when he feels that it's on. But as we've seen here today, not afraid to suck in a defender and open up one of his teammates for the score. It's a sign of a very mature player that understands how the game's meant to be played.
And that's been the success of the Dartmouth team. Everybody is looking for each other, looking for support. Nobody's that selfish. You know, everybody's there helping out. You can see them move the ball here beautifully.
Absolutely, always supporting. Oh, and a nice break up here. One man to beat, and he does.
Wow, stepping off the left, stepping off the right. John Abram, he hasn't got a left foot, just going straight through and slicing them up for a 40-point result here.
And I tell you, open field tackling, that one of the underappreciated arts. It's so difficult to stop a player in that situation. As you know, one man to beat, all that space either side of you. It's just a very, very difficult thing to stop, especially when you have such a strong runner there.
And that's full time on that game, 43-0. That is an absolute hiding, and Dartmouth full value for that win there.